Cosmic Fantasy II for the TurboGrafx CD-ROM. A memory-filled RPG for me, and one that I played as a youngster quite often. Thanks to good old working designs, this was the only Cosmic Fantasy game translated into English and localized. It was also a very popular CD-ROM title back in 1992. After spinning up the disc, a cutscene begins, showcasing the characters of Laura and Van, as well as their subsequent relationship.
I'll go make a good catch with my trusty spear. You can count on me.
You silly barbarian.
Then, boom, right to the title screen. Nice choreography there, game. Anyhow, without giving too much away, as learning the story as it unfolds during gameplay is half the fun of RPGs, a tranquil planet is about to face a big evil. In fact, Laura ends up kidnapped as she, spoiler alert, may or may not be a possible princess who possesses great power. Lovely. Well, you play as Van, who is now on a quest to save his sweetheart and his beloved planet. As it says in the manual, do not be fooled by the simplicity of the map. What you see is what you get, but many areas are concealed or blocked and can only be visited with time. It shares a very typical overhead view dungeon crawl type layout utilizing turn-based battles. Let's talk about Van's controls. You can move him all around, including diagonally, which is a great thing as I've had this lack of control in other overhead-style games. You move faster in towns and slower on the overall map. Button 1 is used for speaking with characters, which you'll do a lot along the way. You can even talk to chickens. Some people will give you clues on what to do, and others just have weird things to say. Oh, and the mayor has hemorrhoids, in case you were wondering. Working designs can always be counted on for some fun translations, and the humor here is quite solid. Wait, what? Anyway, button 1 will also allow you to search for hidden items, and there are many tossed around, sometimes in people's houses. Button 2 and 1 also help to navigate the various menus. Speaking of menus, once you get the hang of them, you can scroll around quickly. However, there seems to be a few too many steps to navigate through them. Some condensing of the menus would have been nice. Some menu items include a status screen with the condition of characters, information on magic if it's available to be used, and much, much more. Overall, the controls are simple but solid. As you wander around, battles will obviously start randomly. Oh, come on, right before the town? Cosmic Fantasy II relies on the turn-based battle system. You choose an enemy to attack, the method of attack, and sit back to see how it plays out. If you're quick enough and strong enough, you can fly through them fast. You can also flee an encounter at times, until you can't. Defeating battles will earn you money, experience, and of course, you will eventually level up. Speaking of leveling up, a decent amount of grinding is there to be had. However, I didn't find it to be as necessary as in other RPGs. Perhaps that is because of the huge amount of battles you will encounter. Goblins, spiders, snakes, demons, leeches, skeletons, ice devils, blobs. Seriously, I just walked 1 pixel and bam! This part of the game I have never been a fan of. I realize numerous encounters are par for the course, but CF2 seems to be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in this area. And of course, you have trusty boss battles that pop up here and there. I will say that while the encounters are not animated, the art for each enemy is quite nice, although some character designs are simply repeated. In fact, the visuals in Cosmic Fantasy II overall are pretty good in that simple sort of way. It won't knock your socks off, but it's always colorful and has good detail. Some areas are repeated a bit too much, and you'll see a lot of similar terrain along the way, but it's not a bad game to look at. The cutscenes are nicely spread out and very well done, obviously a staple of this game back in the day. The animation is good, and the voice acting is pretty strong here, unlike other CD games.
Hope you brought a change of underwear. Things are going to be exciting.
Thanks for the warning. Along the way, you'll run across shops to buy or sell items. Let's see, we got spears, knives, armors, and shields. It's quite a selection. In chests, you'll find goodies such as herbs, butter knives, fireballs, gold, etc. You'll also just plain be given items such as the sacred sword, books, or skis, which you'll need to get past a snow-covered area. Some of these items are held by Van, but he can only carry 12 of them at a time, so choose wisely. While you begin the game as Van himself, many characters will join along the way, sometimes as much as 3 at a time. Then, poof, they'll disappear just as quickly as the story demands. Such as Annie, who joins you until you get through a tunnel. Or this guy, who transports you into a prison. Yeah, thanks for that. That's the thing with this game. The story and the script seem very simple, but then it hits you with a twist or two that really makes it fun. Such as in the beginning, when it's happy and cheery, and then an entire area explodes and the tone changes, becoming very somber and dark. Or when you now control Bavette and it adds some space elements into the mix. Again, I don't want to give everything away, but let's just say the story twists are a lot of fun for me. And they all work quite well within the confines of this disc. Why, thank you very much, I think. As mentioned, the speech is pretty good. I also have to say that the music is excellent. The tunes are very catchy and fit the tone of each section perfectly. You'll start to hear some of the same music after a while, which may grind on you a bit, but overall it's a solid audio effort. When you die, the game will start you off immediately at the last save point. You can only save the game at various inns scattered around, so keep that in mind while you play. But once you save, no worries, it is now inside the memory and you can load a game some other time. There is a lot to this game, and a good majority is quite positive. But I have to say that while it's a pretty good length, a seasoned role-playing game guru will have no trouble with it. The enemies don't really impress very much as they attack you, so the battles can get a bit boring. And did I mention there are way too many of them? While the CD loading times aren't excruciating, there are quite a number of them which may irk some people. With all that said, Cosmic Fantasy II is a solid little RPG with some good stuff mixed in. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, however, what it does pretty well. I wonder how many people will get that one these days. Cosmic Fantasy II doesn't necessarily do anything new or exciting. It tends to play things safe. However, it is an overall solid presentation with a good story, good visuals, and a fun game to play overall. I'm sure role-playing game purists will have no trouble blowing through it without a scratch, and I'm sure they'll get through it a lot faster than I can, because I'm not the best at these kind of games. But I myself sure enjoyed it. And as for this ball of action, I'm signing off.